You and welcome to My View with Isetum Deet. In 2015, the DA walked into Boardwalk Convention Center in Nelson Mandela Bay, chanting, "We are ready for Musi Maimai. We are ready for Musi Maimai." They called Maimai's victory a watershed moment. Not only for the DA, but for the country. 4 years later, they sang a different song. They told us that they had elected a failed experiment. In effect, telling you, the voter, that we as a party are no longer in the business of history making. In this party, we're still dancing with white domination while holding the rainbow nation with our pinky finger. Your next president will be a white man. Yes, white man. Possibly John Steenhuisen, Alan Windy, or, if you like, Petrus Johannes Groenewald. Don't worry, they support non-racialism. They value freedom and opportunity. They value fairness. The question I ask myself is, can they prove it? I went to an elective conference this past week, and Windows, my goodness, was squirming at their attempts to sing anything. They raised their red and green flags as they voted for constitutional amendments and policies. And they sang their usual song, "We're diverse, we're diverse, we're diverse." But when the music stopped, they went on to elect 4 white people. 4 to their top brass. And for good measure, just for good measure, they sprinkled in, a bit of non-whites, 1 Indian, 1 colored, 1 black man. To save face. Since its inception, the DA has been innovative, investing in data analytics, voter targeting technologies to identify and to engage with potential supporters. This ushered in a new era in South African politics. The DA was an early adopter of social media in South African politics, using platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to engage with voters and spread their message. The DA has a history of relying on expert advice in various fields to guide their approach and develop policies. They commission research papers and policy papers. They appoint panels. They frequently review themselves while actually implementing expert advice. They are the most forward-looking party in this country. But on race, they have chosen to disregard that aspect of their role as leaders, as a political party that wishes to lead this country. They have ignored that part of their leadership role. They keep sabotaging themselves, refusing to address race and actually have a meaningful impact on the subject, because they operate on fear. The party with the most courage to change will not change. After the poor performance of the Build One South Africa for All campaign in 2019, the DA went back to its fear-mongering tactics. You see, Helen Ziller used fear. In her 2019 campaign, she featured posters that had a gated community that, with the slogan, "Stop Zuma, stop the ANC, vote DA." Tony Leon built the party on fear with his slogan, "Fight Back," which targeted white people who wanted to reduce the impact of the ANC government reforms. And so it is in regular program that John Steenhuisen decides to use fear by declaring the economic freedom fighters as their number one political enemy. This is how the DA operates. It uses fear. The party with the most courage to pivot, to innovate when it finds itself in the wrong direction, will not practice that courage and pivot. Change direction on race. The party drank my money juice, liked it for a while, but when it didn't start to work, they decided, we're going back to our, fear Kool-Aid. That's why we don't trust them. That's why we don't believe them when they say they care about black people, because they are too preoccupied with preserving the status quo for white people, not rocking the boat on race, that they are not actually participating in the conversation of race. They are letting other parties lead that conversation. The innovator, progressive, forward-looking DA did not think to look harder for an ethical, competent, and someone who believes in their values, that was black, to lead them. They did not consider courting a large number of black leaders from business, from civil society, from the general population, to develop and keep a large pool of people from which they can choose a leader that was black, ethical, and believed in the DA values. Because Mmusi Maimane did not perform well, he didn't do an outstanding job in the general elections, we are deciding to go backwards instead of forward, to choose to support and work with white domination instead of pushing forward the vision of a rainbow nation. They are choosing, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to them. And so, your next president will be a white man. Unless the DA decides to do something it is afraid to do, and that is trust another black leader. Or do something it is unwilling to do, that is work hard to find someone. There is at least one person in this country who can be our president and is black, and is competent, and is ethical. There's at least one. Obviously, I believe there's more than one, but at the very least, there's one. You cannot tell me in a country of 60 million people, you can't find one person who's competent to lead this country. You cannot tell me that person is only white. So they should look for someone. But as far as I'm concerned, your next president is going to be a white man. I believe the DA squandered an opportunity for you to look at that party and say, that's a party that cares about my disadvantaged reality. It's a party that cares about my black experience in this country. To look at that party and say, that's a party that's going to care about me more than anyone else when it's in government. Because you and I don't expect any government that gets into power to care more about white people than it cares about black people, which the DA has done for decades now. At the very least, they should care about us equally. If they're not going to care about black people more, they should at very least care about us all equally. So that white people are not the only people who have it all in this country. We must be able to participate in this economy. We must be able to take responsibility for this country. We must be given an opportunity, a legal system, an economic system that incentivizes us working, us starting businesses. And we cannot do that with this current government in the ANC. We certainly can't do that with an EFF government. And so the only hope we have is another party doing something the DA has failed to do for 2 decades. Because it's an indictment on the DA's policies, on the DA's nature as a party, that so many parties exist in this country. It's an indictment on the DA's performance. Something must be done. Anyway, that's my view. Thank you for honoring me and listening to my view. See you next time. So that